Welcome back to the channel. We have another movie review for you today. We are headed back to the theater for the second week in a row.
There is a God.
I haven't been to a movie in back-to-back weeks since all the way back in March, so it feels great to be back going to the theater once again. Today, we are going to be seeing the new movie, The New Mutants. Now, this is going to be an exciting one because this movie has been in production hell for years, so we'll see what exactly they came up with. So make sure you stick through to the end of this video where you will see my review for The New Mutants. It is out in theaters this weekend, and I'll be sure to let you know if this is a movie that you should see in theaters or if this is a movie that you should maybe wait and see in the comfort of your own home. So it should be a fun video, so let's go check it out. So we just pulled into the theater, and I always like to come early afternoon because that's when there's not very many people here. So easy to avoid people and keep my social distance.
Don't cross this line with your hands.
As for what I was saying earlier, the New Mutants movie, this is going to be, I don't really know what to expect going into this because this movie, as I mentioned earlier, was in production hell. Now, this movie should have been released 3 years ago. Now here we are 3 years later, and it's just now being released. And that's not just because of the coronavirus pandemic. That has played part to it, but it's not everything. And usually when movies are delayed like this, they're not very good when the final product is released. So my expectations for this movie, not very high whatsoever. And I haven't watched any reviews on this at all, so I don't know what to expect. Now, something about this movie, Disney was not allowing critics to screen this movie beforehand. They weren't sending any copies to the critics' home, and they're forcing pretty much everybody to watch this in the theaters, and a lot of critics didn't like that, so a lot of critics aren't reviewing this movie. So kind of interesting to note. And yeah, I don't really know what to expect. I'm not expecting much just because I know the backstory of this movie. So we're gonna go in, we're gonna check it out, and I'll be sure to give you my first reaction of this movie right after it's over. My seat. We're just a couple minutes until showtime, and I'm the only one in here, so I'd say I'm doing pretty good about keeping my social distance and staying away from everybody. Now, The New Mutants, this movie stars Charlie Heaton, Stranger Things fame, Maisie Williams of Game of Thrones fame, and the up-and-coming actress Anya Taylor-Joy. She is pretty good in what I've seen her in so far. So the cast is a pretty good cast, and a lot of good up-and-coming actors. Now, the thing is, will they mesh well on screen? Is the plot any good? I don't know anything about that. That's what we're about to find out. But at least the cast is promising, so it has something going for it to start, at least. So we'll see what it looks like come into the movie.
And here we go.
What's the last thing you remember, Danny? He said we had to run.
Just got out of the theater and I just finished New Mutants. My first reaction to the movie, not very good. I didn't like it very much. It was probably better than Dark Phoenix, but that's really not saying much. Now, what I liked about this movie was that it was a fresh storyline. It was a fresh storyline from Marvel and something we really haven't seen before, kind of the whole horror, suspense, thriller route, and that's a new way of telling a movie for Marvel, so that was pretty cool to see. Now, as for the way they went about it, not so good. I felt the movie was only an hour and a half, but I felt like I was in there for 2.5 hours. It was so boring. And the thing is that you can have entertainment in bad movies. I saw a bad movie last week with Unhinged, and I was still entertained by it. This movie was so boring until the final act. And the thing is although I did enjoy the final act for the most part, it was just too little too late. And that was my biggest issue with this movie. It was the fact that it was just so boring. Some other issues I had was that the script was terrible. Now, you can have good actors and you can have good actors in bad movies, but if the script doesn't give them any favors. Those actors that are good come off really bad. And in this case, these actors came off really bad. I think Maisie Williams was the only actor in there that I was kind of enjoying, but for the most part, I didn't even like her character really at all either. The script, the lines were just so cringeworthy, and the delivery in a lot of these lines is just terrible. It was so cheesy, and it was not fun. I didn't have any fun whatsoever while watching this movie until it got to the final act, and then it started to really pick up, and I was like, where was this all along? They tried to build the suspense, and the building of the suspense just didn't work. It didn't work whatsoever. It was just boring. It took forever to get there, and like I said, this was an hour and a half long movie, but it felt like 2.5 hours long, and that's not what you want from an hour and a half long movie.
We're here to get better.
X-Men franchise, you know, it has a lot of misses. Sure, it has some good movies like Days of Futures Past, First Class, obviously first X-Men movie and X2, but think of the bad X-Men movies. Dark Phoenix, Apocalypse, X-Men Last Stand. Those are, or the best one of all, X-Men Origins Wolverine. When X-Men movies are bad, they are bad. And now this one is better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, and it is better than Dark Phoenix, but this is still in the bad X-Men genre. That is for sure. So take that with however you will. If you do enjoy the bad X-Men movies, then you probably like this one too. I did not like it, and this is a movie that I will probably never watch again. And I rewatch movies a lot, so that's really telling, as if rewatchability factor, and that is not here in this. So if you want to go to the theater, I recommend Unhinged over this. I feel like you have more entertainment than that. If you want to wait till you watch it at home, I recommend that even more. So with that all being said, I did enjoy the final act. I didn't like the first 3 parts of the movie. I hated the script. The plot was just okay. I'm going to give The New Mutants a 3 out of 10. So, not good. Not a good movie, and we probably should have known this going in. I did say going in that a movie that's been delayed this many times is usually bound for failure. So we'll see what the box office return is on this. I'm not expecting much, especially with the pandemic. I don't know. They set it up for a potential sequel. I don't think we'll get that sequel. I think Disney just pushed this movie out and will put it in its rearview mirror. The good news is the first real good movie since theaters open back up comes out next week, and at least I hope it's good. It's the new Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet. I am very excited to see this movie. I will definitely be there to see this movie in theaters. I can't wait to review that one, and I'm excited for what's to come. I hope we see some more good movies before the year is over, but this one, not good. If you like this video, please consider hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button, of course, ding that bell to stay up to date for when I post my next video. But for now, we'll see you in the next one.
See you around.
All right, check you later.
Bye.